Vipera aspis is a venomous viper species found in southwestern Europe. Its common names include asp viper, European asp, and aspic viper, among others. Bites from this species can be more severe than from the European adder, V.berus. Not only can they be very painful, but also about 4% of all untreated bites are fatal. The specific epithet, aspis, is a Greek word that means viper. 5 subspecies are currently recognized, including the nominate subspecies described here. Description: the species grows to an average total length of 60 to 65 centimeters. Males reach a maximum total length of 85 centimeters. Females rarely more than 75 centimeters. Males, however, are a little slimmer than females. The tail is very short, 1/7 to 1/9 of total body length in females, and 1/6 to 1/8 in males. The head is broad, triangular, and quite distinct from the neck. The tip of the snout is slightly but distinctly upturned. The rostral scale is generally higher than it is wide, touching 2 to 3 scales on the upper side of the snout. Dorsally, the snout is flat with distinct and slightly raised sharp margins. The nasal scale is single and separated from the rostral by a single nasorostral scale. The crown is covered with numerous small and irregular scales of different sizes that are mostly smooth but sometimes slightly keeled. Frontal and parietal scales are usually not present, but if so, they are small and irregularly shaped, with the frontal separated from the supraoculars by 2 scale rows. The supraocular scales are large and distinct, separated by 4 to 7 scale rows. There are 10 to 12 small circumorbital scales below the supraocular. The eye is separated from the supralabials by 2 scale rows. The vertical diameter of the eye is about the same as the distance between the eye and the mouth. There are 9 to 13 supralabials. The 4th, 5th supralabials are separated from the eye by 2 rows of small scales, but sometimes there is a single scale between the 4th supralabial and the eye. Generally, the temporal scales are smooth, but sometimes slightly keeled. Mid-body, there are 21 to 23 rows of dorsal scales. These are strongly keeled, except for the outermost rows that vary and are sometimes smooth. There are 134 to 170 ventral scales. Subspecies V.A. aspis averages fewer than 150 ventrals, while V.A. atra averages more. The anal scale is single. Males have 32 to 49 subcaudals, females 30 to 43. The subcaudal scales are paired. The dorsal markings vary strongly, but only rarely take the form of a clear zigzag, as in V.berus. Common names and historical usage. Common names of Vipera aspis include asp viper, European asp, aspic viper, European viper, and Duroviper. The term asp has in the past been used to refer to any venomous snake. The snake which supposedly killed the Egyptian queen Cleopatra is named by Velleius Paterculus as an asp, and by Martial as a viper. Virgil mentions 2 snakes but does not name the species, while Plutarch mentions twin prick marks on her arm but does not state that these were tooth marks, so they could also have been from a poisoned hairpin. There is a tradition that the bite was a cobra's, but experts consider that a cobra would have been too big to smuggle in a basket. Geographic range: France, Andorra, northeastern Spain, extreme southwestern Germany in the southern Black Forest, Switzerland, the islands of Elba and Monte Cristo, Sicily, Italy, San Marino and northwestern Slovenia. The original type locality was listed simply as Gallia. Quote, however, Schwartz proposed that it be restricted to Poitou. In August-October 2006, a number of specimens were discovered in a wooded area near the town of Portugal in the Netherlands. Although they were doing quite well, the species is not native in this country. it is likely that one or more escaped or were set loose in the area. Conservation status. This species is classified as least concern according to the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, so listed due to its wide distribution, tolerance of a broad range of habitats, presumed large population, and because it is unlikely to be declining fast enough to qualify for listing in a more threatened category. However, subspecies V.A. aspis is categorized as critically endangered in Switzerland, V.A. atra is categorized as vulnerable, and V.A. francisca reddi is categorized as endangered. In general, the species is also listed as protected under the Berne Convention. Habitat. This species has a few clearly defined and relatively specific habitat requirements. It needs warm areas that are exposed to the sun, structured vegetation and comparatively dry soils. In Italy and France, it is often found in areas with low mountains or hills, notably in limestone regions, but sometimes occurs in lower plains. It has a preference for vegetated areas or environments with at least some cover. Here it can be found on sunny slopes, on scrublands, in glades, in mountain meadows, forest clearings, at the borders of woods, in rubbish dumps and in stone quarries. In Italy, it occurs in mesic chestnut oak woodlands and often near streams. Although it is not strongly associated with high altitudes, it has been found at well over 2,100 meters above sea level in the Pyrenees. Venom. A bite from this species can be more severe than from V.berus and is very painful. According to Stemler, about 4% of all untreated bites are fatal. Lombardi and Bianco mentioned that this species is responsible for 90% of all cases of snakebite in Italy, and it is the only mortal snake in Italian mountains. The toxicity of the venom varies. Stemler states that the population in Passwang district, Switzerland, have the strongest venom based on studies conducted on mice. Compared to venoms from other species, it is relatively toxic. Brown gives LD50 values of 1.0 mg per kilogram IV and 1.0 to 2.0 mg per kilogram SC. 2 al. Report 4.7 mg per kilogram IM. Venom yield is relatively low. Bouquet reported a daily extraction figure of 9 to 10 mg. Envenomation symptoms include rapidly spreading acute pain, followed by edema and discoloration. Severe hemorrhagic necrosis may occur within a few hours. The vision may be severely impaired, most likely due to degradation of blood and blood vessels in the eyes. The venom has both coagulant and anticoagulant effects. The venom may also affect glomerular structure, which can lead to death due to renal failure. According to Chamol et al., the venom does not affect neuromuscular contractions in vitro preparations. Lack of this neurotoxic effect would indicate that fatal cases involving the cardiovascular system are the result of direct muscle injury or reduced oxygen exchange. On the other hand, Gonzalez reported that in 2 cases the victims developed neurotoxic symptoms, including difficulty in breathing and swallowing, as well as paralysis of the bitten limbs. Subspecies. Gallery. A Vipera aspis eating a lizard, Toscana, Italy.